What's up YouTube, this is Joe from Zephyrwargames, and as requested by one of my subscribers or viewers here on the channel, I'm going to bring to you guys a Gammamon combo video. At the end, I will also be going through some potential texts and engines that you can utilize within the Gammamon deck for your own personal strategies, changing up the deck a bit more to fit various scenarios, various formats, various decks, and so on and so forth. So you guys got a full on video showing you guys what you can do with this deck. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to probably get through everything. There's probably some things that I'll be missing, some things and combos and scenarios where you yourself playing the deck will find and utilize for your own standard needs. But yes, this is just what I know and what I do with the deck, what I've done with the deck, and so on. So you can guys get good understanding of what makes Gammamon so good, what's Gammamon's identity, and so on and so forth, and that kind of things going on. So before I get into it, enjoy, give a like and subscribe down below. Ding that notification bell, because if you enjoy person's content here on YouTube, you don't want to miss out on that content, and that notification bell helps prevent that. All of the support is greatly appreciated, and we thank you guys so much for doing so. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go and dive through some combos. There's going to be a lot of going in and outs while I set up the fields and that kind of thing, so you guys don't have to watch me scrounge through all the cards. So it just looks a little bit more professional and neater. So I'll catch you guys in the first combo. So most of your combos are centered around just like Hero here. Hero here is primarily from RB1. This is the brand new Tamer set. It looks so nice. I can't wait to get some more copies of this. But yes, most of your combos are centered around Hero and just the general concept of gaining evolution sources to gain additional effects, climb up your stacks a little bit faster, and that kind of scenarios there. So your basic combo here in terms of like Gammamon warping up into his higher stages is through Hero Monikawa at start of your main. You can take a card with Gammamon in its name. So just to show you some prime examples here, you got obviously your level 3s are all called Gammamon, and then your level 4s are all got Gammamon within their name. So this can count to Battle Gammamon, count to Goodness Gammamon, Kaos and Wezen. All those cards can be classified as Gammamon in name, and you're going to be taking it and putting it under one of your Digimon cards on the field. This is where you don't need to be called Gammamon, so you can utilize Hero in other strategies, utilizing him for other named Digimon. But you take a Gammamon name and you load it as the bottom evolution cards here. Because you've gained an evolution card and so on and so forth, and now you have a Gammamon with a Gammamon name, you can utilize things like your RB1 kind of Iceman to warp from a Gammamon for just a cost of 3 memory, like so. Nice and easy here. It's hard for me to personally call this like a combo, but this is kind of like your strategies and your bread and butters. This is how you're going to be able to climb from level 3 to level 5 much faster, and allow you to either get ahead in the game or back into the game. From here, then you can just simply go into any of your level 6s here, and you can just start going off from here and, you know, just do some damage. So I'll pack this up so we can go into the next one. So taking that previous combo there, or the previous interaction there of being a level 3, utilizing the RB1 hero, we can go from even further for even less memory. So just utilizing a card like the Strongest of Brothers, we can take a Gammamon here with our Hero Monikawa, loading up a Gammamon name from here. From here, we can then proc the Strongest of Brothers to then go into one of our higher level Digimon for no memory, because we are a Gammamon that's just gained an evolution source. So we can go into our kind of ice one here, we can evolve on a Gammamon name for 3 memory. So let's go Gammamon in the source. We can use the Strongest of Brothers to do that now for 0 memory, because it's not an effect to allow kind of ice one to do that. It is an extra condition. Take that condition or that ability there, being able to go on a Gammamon name with a Gammamon source, as essentially a circle evolution box there. It's not an ability, it is an alternate evolution source. So a card like the Strongest of Brothers, which lets you digivolve from no memory, So once you gain the evolution source, you can now do that for nothing, which is absolutely fantastic. Now we can go into our level 6 using the memory that we would have been using on the level 5 that we can now just use for the level 6. Climbing up to level 6 for less memory is very powerful and very efficient in this game. And being able to do that with just a simple card of the Strongest Brothers in tandem with our Hero Monarch is absolutely fantastic. But we can go even further. So the further that we can go is essentially, in terms of that combo, the more options we have here. If we have more options, we can chain each option to climb up the stack for no memory, just by gaining evolution source. So we can use the hero to load an evolution source, pocking both the brothers because the trigger for the brothers for the delay is to gain an evolution source. So now we're going to trigger both our options and resolve each one individually. So you're going to be able to use the level 3 to go into our level 5 because we have an evolution source, and then we can use the next, resolve the next brothers to go into our serious mon after we've resolved any, obviously, when digivolving effects that the level 5 may have and may gain from our evolutions. Because with this kind of ice mon that we used, we can gain all the other names when digivolving effects of the named Gammamons in the text, in the sources. If we had like a Gurus Gammamon in here, we would be able to, gain the ability to, when digivolving, load an evolution source, and we can just keep the stacks going, gaining more abilities and giving them all to our serious mon here on the top, or obviously your Arcturus mon as well. Other things that we can do with the Gammamon deck is obviously utilizing the abilities of Gammamons with Gammamon in the names through the effects of the level 5s that the deck has in vast numbers of. Kind of Icemon in here is just a prime example, but obviously we have other abilities and other Digimon who can do it. Things like the regular Smons that we have from RB1 and so on and so forth, and all the various colors here. Because we are Gammamon, or we have the name Gammamon, and let's say we have 2 security here, we can do something that is pretty funny. I rarely ever pull this off, but it is something that you can utilize. So it's something I do want to share with you guys here in the video. So we have Canavicemon here with Gammamon in our name, and we obviously in our sources, and we're just going to evolve into a serious mon here for free memory. I'll set up the board there, obviously. So because we are serious mon with all the names, we can just obviously do our serious mon things, being able to swing, load evolution sources, delete opponent's Digimon, do multiple checks, so on and so forth. One thing you can do, and because you can advise mon with all the effects of Gammamon in the sources, you can utilize the effect of the BT21 Gammamon, which for a cost of 4 and ignoring Digivolution requirements, if you have 2 or less security, you can evolve into a serious one in hand, ignoring the Digivolution requirements. So because you are ignoring Digivolution requirements, you can turn, let's say, the serious one from BT21 into the serious one from RB1. You can also, just turn it into serious one from BT21 or even the Ace, for example. But what we can do is evolve into the RB1 serious one for memory, using his effect to load a source and then delete a Digimon. Because a Digimon got deleted, we'd then be able to unsuspend. You can utilize this in the scenarios where, if you want to, you can load a Wezzing Gammamon underneath in-game blocker while unsuspending, if the memory is passed over. If the memory has, for example, not passed over, or you loaded a Blitz Battle Gammamon as an evolution source, you'd be able to, gain the when digivolving of Blitz Battle Gammamon after withstanding, to then do an extra swing. So if you needed an extra swing for game, if your opponent's at no security left from the previous BT21 serious one, you got that extra swing for game, while also potentially removing a potential blocker on your opponent's field that is probably going to get in your way. This is just something that you can do. It's something you do rarely, and I would advise to not force yourself to do it. Let it flow naturally within your combos and in your situation, so you're not, changing the game to pull off one certain scenario, when in reality it isn't actually needed for that certain scenario or the state of the game that you're in, and then maybe potentially throwing the game in doing so. But that is something that you can do. So do keep in mind what effects you have underneath, whether they're main effects or when digivolving effects, so you can actually get the full value of your top end. Things you can do in this deck now with all the new support from BT21 is essentially utilizing RB1 Hero a lot less than we actually used to, thanks to things like Gulu's Gammamon here from BT21. Gulu's Gammamon is, in my mind, the RB1 Hero in the form of a Digimon, as he is able to give you evolution sources from your hand or trash whenever you need it in any scenario that you're probably in. So I can do things now I used to do before, but a lot simpler, as evolve into Gulu's Gammamon, gaining the BT8 Battle Gammamon from my hand or trash, and gaining it as an evolution source, to then go into things like BT10 kind of Icemon, gaining all the effects. So I can gain another evolution source if I needed to get a lot bigger, and then I can proc things like, if I'm able to then suspend a Tamer when I become kind of Icemon, I can then gain the additional security attack because I'll become 12k or more, and then thanks to the effect of all my effects, I now have the Battle Gammamon prior to evolution, not after, prior to evolution, and then I can gain when Digivolving Blitzed, and then could do a quick 2 checks quite early in the game, or even late in the game if you really need to, because you are quite big at this point, because you are 12k and above. The reason I emphasize that you have to gain it prior and not after or on evolution is because if I, let's say, didn't have the Battle Gammamon, but I evolved into over the Gulu's and loaded Battle Gammamon, I didn't have the Battle Gammamon on when Digivolving. So because I didn't have it when Digivolving, it actually missed the timing to gain the effect of the Battle Gammamon as an evolution source, so you don't actually gain those effects. So if you are new to the deck and learning the deck and learning when to gain and how do I gain certain effects, you have to have the source before you digivolve, not as you're digivolving. So just do bear that in mind when you're trying to utilize these effects. It's kind of one reason why I'm thinking some people are moving away from the gaining effects as you climb up level 5s and focusing more on the brand new level 5s, which have native effects naturally on them, and you have less of the level 4s that are, inherentless and that kind of thing, and you're just focusing more on getting to your level 6s with your protection, with your respawning level 5s, and you're only utilizing a little few of the level 5s that give you effects, but you're not actually focusing on that strategy. One of the new support cards that we got in BT21 is probably the best one, which is the option card of Strongest of Brothers. This card does so much for the deck and so much for the strategy, as it has just a simple trigger requirement of just being a Digimon that gains an evolution source, though you have Gammamon in name or text. So having a card like this means that we can utilize cards that probably weren't utilized a lot by a lot of players, obviously for various reasons, suits their playstyles and so on and so forth. But one of those cards in conjunction is Seriousmon Ace here. Seriousmon Ace has a lot of strong things that goes for it, being obviously an ace target within the deck, being able to delete certain bodies, gain memory upon deletion all turns, so you could potentially steal turns and so on and so forth. But the fact is, in Ace, Bandai has given the ability to gain an evolution source as an on-play effect, which means that just simple turn 2 after you have a Strongest of Brothers set up, you can just pay 7 memory if you need to, on-play a Seriousmon Ace, and then gain your effect on play of just gaining an evolution source. Take a Gammamon in text and put it underneath as an evolution source to delete an opponent's Digimon with 8000 DP less for each color you have in your sources. You can add 1000 to a deeper base deletion. So you can take something like turn 2 an Arcturusmon, load that card underneath, delete an opponent's Digimon, pull a memory because you deleted something, and you can delete something 9000 or less, meaning that you've on-played for 7, but you've actually now on-played for 6. You can then trigger your Strongest of Brothers option card because you are Digimon Gammamon in text and gain the evolution source to proc that and allow evolve your Seriousmon into a Proximamon for no memory. Obviously, it would have evolved for 3 memory anyway, because you are a Seriousmon with an Arcturusmon in source. But being able to use the Brothers to do this now for 0 memory means that just for 6 memory effectively, you remove the body, you've climbed up into a level 7, and you're now removing an extra body because you can now trigger the end of turn of Proximamon, gain an evolution source, delete another Digimon, and then you can spawn back a level 4 or lower from the trash if you had one there already. Maybe it came from a cheeky swing or something of that nature. But you've just now gained 2 bodies on your board for 6 memory, removed 2 bodies of your opponent, and you've trashed the security. Very strong, as you can just gain all of this from a single option card and on play of an ace. One of the deck's interactions is through its one source of search and protection, being the LM Bokomon. One of the best things that it can combo with is with the purple Gammamon from also the LM, which has an alternative effect that when one of your other Digimon is deleted by an effect, you can then digivolve this into a Digimon card with Gammamon in its text from your trash, ignoring Digivolution without paying the cost. So one thing that you can obviously do is if they try to delete your Gammamon here, or even board wipe you can use the Pokemon to protect the Gammamon here, triggering the Gammamon to evolve into a Gammamon text card from your trash without paying the cost, and you can progress your stack here just by giving a simple form of protection. One thing that you can also utilize Pokemon for is through things like regular Smon Ace and also the RB1 regular Smon. If you have a stack with the Gammamon purple in the evolution sources, you can evolve into like a regular Smon here from RB1, giving one of your Digimon by trashing a card in your hand with Gammamon in its text. One of your Digimon gains the effect on delete. Delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the lowest level until the end of your opponent's turn. So you can give this effect to the Pokemon here, and then when they go to try to delete your board, or even try to delete your regular Smon, you can protect your regular Smon via battle or by effect, deleting the Pokemon, deleting now one of your opponent's Digimon for the effect of the regular Smon that you gained. But because you have all the evolution sources via the effects, you can now trigger the Gammamon here, which is an all turns effect. Since your Digimon got deleted, you can now evolve for free from the trash, letting you regain all your stack that you just lost previously as you're now evolving from the trash, essentially using one stack twice. Another thing that you can do is that when it's your opponent's turn, if they try to swing at you, you can now use your regular Smon Ace to blast Digivolve into your regular Smon, triggering its effect, trashing a card in hand, and then taking a card with Gammamon its text and loading it as an evolution source. You can then delete one of your Digimon to delete one of your opponents. Because you trashed a card, you trash first and you load, you can actually, as you saw there, just utilize the card that you just trashed because you're putting it in the trash first and then you're loading it. So you can delete one of your other Digimon, or just, delete a level 4 or lower. This can be yours as well. So one thing you could do is that if this wasn't Pokemon, this could be any other Digimon on your board that's level 4 or lower, you can delete your body and you can revive a body from the trash. What I like to sometimes do with regular Ace is just delete a Pokemon and then replay the Pokemon. You can then just use the Pokemon's on-play effect, search your deck a little bit more. But because one of your Digimon got deleted by an effect, doesn't have to be your opponent's, and because you gained a level 5 that gives you all your effects, you can now use your Ace to evolve into something that's level 6 and Gammamon text from the trash for nothing, which is absolutely fantastic. It's something I really like to do a lot, and it does catch a lot of people off guard. One thing that you can do though, and improve this combo, is have the strongest of brothers. As you can see, everything kind of like glues and melds in together, which is absolutely fantastic with this deck, and that's something I really do like. Just by adding the option card here and your opponent swings, go into the Ace, trash a level 5 or lower, or trash a Gamut in tech card in hand, load a Gamut in text, delete a level 4 lower, bring back a level 4 lower, do my search, trigger the Gammamon to evolve into a card in the trash for Gamut in text, and then you can proc the strongest of brothers as well, because you've gained an evolution source of the regular Smon Ace. You can then evolve into your Proximamon as well for nothing. You've climbed all the way up from level 4 to level 7 on your opponent's turn just by them turning sideways. It's absolutely fantastic. One card that I do want to talk about and emphasize as a potential tech and is part of a combo for the deck is Gammamon from BT8. Thought it was an 8, but it also kind of looked like a 5 for a minute. So this is going to just be my last little combo before I get to like potential text engines that you utilize with the deck. Obviously, if I have missed anything out and come up with something in the future, or if you guys notice I've missed something out that is a really strong combo that the deck can do and utilize, do post it down in the comments below so that everyone who watches this video, whether it's watching the video or reading the comments, can understand more on what the deck can do. And that, you know, in certain scenarios, the deck can do this. Oh, if you use this with this, you can go up into this. All that kind of stuff helps everyone out, new or old, that's playing Gammamon. And, you know, I greatly appreciate it. So, I would greatly appreciate it. And also all the comments and all of the viewers will also greatly appreciate it as well. So, a combo that I'm trying to utilize in the deck and have pulled off a few times is utilizing BT8 Gammamon with its ability to gain evolution sources. Being able to gain evolution sources obviously helps really well in Gammamon through our Strongest of Brothers option card. But what we're comboing it with is Regulusmon from BT21 as well as Arcturusmon from RB1. So what we can do and utilize with Gammamon is such. Let's say we have 2 level 4s on our field. You know, 2 level 4s, you know, and like a Strongest of Brothers or 2. You know, this can be done with just 1 Strongest of Brothers. So we can utilize our 2 level 4s and DNA into a Gammamon here. Gammamon is going to, you know, grab an evolution card or grab a Digimon that's level 5 or lower from the trash and put it underneath as an evolution source. So we're going to take our BT21 Regulusmon and put it underneath. From here, we're going to use our Strongest of Brothers and Digivolve a Digimon on our field that has gained an evolution source into a Digimon card with Gammamon and text from our hand without paying the cost. So we're going to evolve into an Arcturusmon here for no memory. Arcturusmon on Digivolving is going to take Gammamon in text and put it underneath from the trash as an evolution source. So we're going to take another copy of BT21 Regulusmon and load it underneath. So far, all of this, we've gone to level 6 from a level 4 for no memory, utilizing the Strongest of Brothers. From here, we're going to swing and attack with our Arcturusmon, you know, just doing a quick check. What we can do here is get Arcturusmon deleted. When Arcturusmon is deleted, we're going to trigger the effects. So we're going to trigger the 2 copies of Regulusmon here, which is on delete, play a level 4 or lower Digimon card with Gammamon in its text from the trash without paying the cost. So we're just, you know, go spit out our 2 level 4s because the whole stack would be in trash on deletion. So we're going to spit out the 2 level 4s that we had as an evolution source. From here, we're going to trigger the Arcturusmon's effect, which is on delete, take a Digimon card from the trash and take it into our hand. From here, we can then, you know, trash the Zephyrwargames and play a Proximamon from our hand for nothing. But bare minimum, we're just going to take the Gammamon from our trash and add it to our hand. And then here is probably where you can see how this is going to keep going. Take our 2 level 4s, DNA into Gammamon, utilizing effect, load of Regulusmon underneath, proccing the brothers. We can then go into, you know, maybe another Arcturusmon, or we can go into a Zephyrwargames. You know, we'll probably want to have another Arcturusmon in hand, go into the Arcturusmon. Arcturusmon is going to load the Regulus from the trash. We're going to swing, because when you DNA, you don't have summoning sickness. So we can now swing with the level 6 that we just have, get him deleted, spit out the 2 level 4s, add the Gammamon back to our hand, DNA again. It is a potential infinite loop. All thanks to Gammamon just being able to gain evolution sources from the trash And then we can just keep on looping, just gaining a little bit more chips now and then every single time we do this combo. You know, it's not the most, you know, powerful combo that you can probably do in the deck. It takes a lot of setup. You know, it takes you to have 2 regular spawns in the trash at a certain point. Luckily, when you go into 1 regular spawn, the regular spawn could just trash the other one from hand, and you know, and you just get that one killed, and you just do the combo again. And it doesn't require you, if you want to keep through looping on your turn, having cards that allow you to self-destruct your Arcturusmon, and having Arcturusmons in the hand that you can utilize as well to keep the loop going. I think personally, if you want to really utilize this combo, you'll just tech Gammamon that I'm currently doing as a one-off, you know, play the deck as essentially normal, you know, and when you get the Arcturusmon deleted, if the Arcturusmon is deleted, just replace it with a serious one. Just go into a serious one, you know, do the DNA, go into him, swing, do 2 more checks. You're gaining 3 checks quite quickly, and you're gaining a recovery play quite quickly as well. You're getting, you know, multiple on deletes, so if your new stack does die, you're still replacing it with like maybe 1 or 2, depending on who you go into, depending what you load up again. But it's just something that you can utilize. I think Gammamon is one of those cards that you can just really umph decks and just bring decks a little bit more if they have certain scenarios and certain interactions with other cards. But that's the last combo that I'm going to share with you guys here. It's just something on top of my head. If I do have more combos, I'll try and, you know, just jot them down so I know what combo to do. And I'll maybe do a follow-up video if you do guys enjoy this kind of content. Maybe I can do it for other decks as well. If you guys have other decks that I've profiled before or haven't profiled yet that you want to see combos for, post that down in this comment section here so I know where it all is. And I'll try and bring you guys another video, because I do enjoy these kind of videos, doing these videos for you as a form of me helping you guys understand decks that I personally enjoy. Because I try to profile decks I do personally enjoy and have played. And if you guys do want to know a bit more on how the decks kind of like work and how to do like the cards in the deck like interact with each other and want to see a video like that, I'm more than happy to do those kind of videos. So I'll scoop all this up and share with you guys just a few little engines that I have used before or plan to use. And you guys can get understanding on how you can take Gammamon, where you can take Gammamon, and that kind of thing. So I'll catch you guys in a bit. In here, we just have a layout of just a few engines or deck techs that you can do, cards that you can utilize within the Gammamon strategy that just have just odd synergies and that can make benefits and utilize the, you know, what Gammamon can provide to add and change to the deck and manipulate it in different ways where you're gonna, you know, surprise your opponent, you know, change up the deck's top end strategy just a little bit, or even utilize Gammamon within other strategies and, you know, up, you know, the potential on what they can maybe do, whether it's making them better overall or just adds a little bit of spice to your opponent, you know, it's a little bit of surprise on what, you know, you're pulling off in front of them. So as you can see here, I got a lot of different engines and things that you can utilize and laid out in front of you. So you guys can get a good idea on, like, you know, overall, what are we looking at, what are we looking for, and, you know, what we kind of want. So obviously, as I showed you guys the combo, we got the Gammamon package there. I like to, you know, I'm just using this as like the overall idea of the package. You know, using the Gammamon and using the ability of Regulusmon from BT21 to replay level 4s back from your trash, you know, refresh the Gammamon in your hand with Arcturusmon, or having another one in your hand already ready, and just, you know, performing another DNA straight off the bat. We got here a, you know, another one that a lot of people, you guys have probably seen here on the channel already, or seen on Jamie's channel, Minikill, is obviously the Dragon Link package. You know, the Dragon Link engine here is, to me, emphasized via Volcanodromon, Metallic Dramon, and offense training as your main form of consistency. You can also utilize Garnet members as well. You know, it's just a very strong package in just, you know, a lot of different formats where, you know, your opponent's either going wide with smaller bodies, you know, progressing with high evolution stacks quite quickly. Utilizing the Dragon Link's top end means that you can halt the strategy, slow them down a lot more while you progress your own strategy. But also you have nice synergies here with Volcanogymon, the fact that you can play a Sky Dragon when he leaves, and Arcanovicemon is in fact a Sky Dragon. And thanks to the BT21 one, we now have an on-play effect that we utilize on our opponent's turn with things like Strongest of Brothers in tandem gaining and evolution sources. Over here, down here, is obviously the Appmon package. I'm going to be testing this out at some point. I'm really enjoying the Appmon package as a way of just getting nice, quick, aggressive checks quickly, while also being a nice, high DP body, so your opponent is going to have a little bit of trouble trying to get rid of it on the field. They have to use effects to get rid of you, while you're just, chipping away at, 2 security every time you, perform this little combo. And because you are still hero traded, you do have synergies with BT21, Seriousmon, being able to use them as loading fodder if you need to. If you don't have like a Gammamon in hand, you can still utilize the Appmons as they are hero traded. More importantly, these two for the engine here. Tiger is here also just, as a way of combining and, having that hero link, meaning that you can utilize things like Gammamon as he is a hero trait, loading evolution sources, reducing your evolution costs of hero traded Digimon, so you can utilize it to reduce obviously these two. We also got obviously your Seriousmon as well. Tiger probably wouldn't be as a high enough ratio, but these two would definitely be in there as they are the main form of the engine. You can also go a lot more harder into the hero engine here, obviously utilizing things like your Digimon and your superior mode as well as your Gunimon. A Gunimon even more, as he does have the ability to gain evolution sources. So if you wanted to utilize a Gunimon as like a form of a hybrid for game, but you want to get a little bit more out of it, you utilize a Gunimon as your hybrid for game, but also being able to trigger your Strongest of Brothers, evolving into your level 5s for nothing, as we now play only ones that evolve on reds. So you can go on a tamer, load an evolution source, proc your Strongest of Brothers, go into a level 5, and you can see where the combos go on from there. Utilizing more forms of gaining evolution sources, we obviously have X antibodies, our classic way of gaining free evolution sources. You can utilize X antibody for nothing, putting it underneath a Digimon, which then can trigger your Strongest of Brothers and go off into a digimoncardgame in text in hand. You can still utilize just strong X antibody Digimon in forms of like Gammamon X here, just being able to go promote a level 4, use X antibody, gain an evolution source by tucking it underneath, proc the brothers, go into a 5 for nothing, swing with a 5, go into Gammamon X through your X antibody or any other X antibody trait Digimon that you want to use. You can see again where the combos go. And then for the last one, I kind of want to talk and touch on as kind of like a way of utilizing Gammamon within another engine in here is obviously Galaxy. You can't not talk about Galaxy in terms of, utilizing engines. Galaxy is, like the pinnacle of engines at the moment, other than probably Hero and Adventure. Another way of gluing it all together is through Fumamon here. Fumamon is a Gammamon text card, but that is also blue. Being a blue colored Digimon means that we can just naturally evolve on a high number of blue champions within the Galaxy engine, being Gammamon and Crestmon. Being able to just evolve for free memory into a Gammamon text card means that we can still utilize our Gammamon text megas within the deck, depending on how many copies you want to play of Fumamon. Being able to use the Galaxy engine to gain evolution sources means if you wanted to take it in, you can still trigger Strongest of Brothers. You can use the inherent effects of Lunamon here, as well as your Coronamon. Being able to take the top card as a Galaxy trait, put it underneath. You are still gaining an evolution source by doing this method, which means you can then proc the brothers, go into a level 4 or into a level 5. You could utilize the Sunmon first when you proc the level 4 to go back to level 3. Go to use Sunmon, evolve into level 4 for 1, resolve the effect. Use the brothers, go into Fumamon if you evolved into level 4. And then you essentially go into level 5 for just a simple 1 memory. Which is, absolutely great. This could even be for 0 memory if you had the Gammamon to gain a memory of it. You can do things as well utilizing Coincide as another form of gaining evolution sources, taking the top card as a Galaxy, put it underneath, and you can evolve for nothing. one thing I used to do when I had this kind of like build is I had a Galaxy level 6 on board. I utilized my RB1 hero to tug a Gammamon name underneath my level 6. Then I used the current side to regress to level 6 back into level 3. And then I triggered the ability to evolve into another thing for nothing. On this scenario, I had a serious one already in place. I had 2 Megas with no sources. Hero underneath 1, that's the Galaxy. Tamer regressed into the Gammamon. And then I used the Tamer to evolve the 6 into a Proximon 1, that was a Gammamon. So you can do funny things of that kind of nature as well. But it's just another way of seeing the synergies between 2 different archetypes. One of being obviously the Gammamon in this scenario, and trying to mesh them together. If you guys are interested in that build, I'm more than happy to share with you the build. I need to work on a little bit more, utilizing all the new cards that we've gained, but the build's probably not going to change much from what I had prior. But again, if you do want to see that, leave that down below. But that, guys, is the not deck profile, but the combo guide and engine tech, I guess, for Gammamon overall. Again, if I've missed anything out, put it, and about it, put it down in the comments below so everyone can see it and everyone can then understand and know what to do. And again, if I do miss a lot of different kind of like combos, again, I'll be jotting them all down, and I'll potentially make a follow-up video for this as well. If you guys want to see other combo videos for other decks I have done on the channel or haven't done yet, but you want to see it, if I've done it before and it's not on the channel and I know about it, I will more than happy to do one in the future. Guys, hope you enjoyed this. Leave your comments down below, like, comment, and subscribe. As always, next time, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.